Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. We all learned that on the playground, didn't we? It was our little shield, a way to pretend that names we were called didn't sting. But as adults, we know the truth. That rhyme was the biggest lie we were ever told. Broken bones heal in 6 weeks, but a word planted in your mind by a parent, a teacher, an ex-partner, or worst of all, by yourself, that can last a lifetime.
The Mindset Manual with Myron Williams.
Speaking of things that weigh on your minds, let's talk about the stories we tell ourselves about money. We often tell ourselves it's too hard to find good help, or that financial stress is just something we have to live with. But that's a limiting belief we can break now. That's why I'm excited to partner with TaxApp. Looking to find a financial professional shouldn't be a gamble. You want someone who knows the numbers inside and out. TaxApp is a new marketplace designed specifically for you to connect with vetted financial service professionals. Whether you're looking for tax preparation, bookkeeping, or just honest financial guidance, TaxApp cuts through the noise. Stop searching in the dark. Download TaxApp today and make a new agreement with your finances, one of clarity and expertise. Welcome back to the Mindset Manual, the podcast where we open up the hood of human psychology to tune up the engine of your life. I'm your host, Myron Williams, and today we're starting with something special. Over the next 4 episodes, we're doing a deep dive into one of the most transformative books of our time, The 4 Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. If you've read it, you know. If you haven't, you're in for a ride. This isn't just a self-help fluff. This is an ancient Toltec wisdom packaged for the modern mind. Today is part 1. We're tackling the first agreement. Ruiz says that this is the most important one, and it's also the hardest to honor. The first agreement is be impeccable with your word. Let's get into it. So why start with the words? Why not be nice? Or why work hard? Ruiz starts here because he views the word not just as vocabulary, but as a force of creation. In the book, he describes your word as pure magic, and he means that almost literally. Think about it. With the word, you can start a war. With the word, you can make someone fall in love with you. With the word, you can destroy someone's confidence forever. Your word is the tool you use to manifest everything in your life, but it's a double-edged sword. One edge creates the most beautiful dream, and the other edge creates a living hell. Now let's look at the specific phrase, be impeccable. We usually think impeccable means neat or tidy, like an impeccable suit. But looking at the root of the word changes everything. It comes from the Latin word peccatus, which means sin, and the prefix "im" means without. So impeccable literally means without sin. Now hang on. Don't tune out. This isn't a religious sermon. In the Toltec concept, sin is simply anything you do that goes against yourself. When you judge yourself, that's a sin against yourself. When you blame yourself, sin. When you speak your truth and empower yourself, that is being impeccable. So being impeccable with your word means using your energy in the direction of truth and love for yourself. It means you stop using your words to curse yourself or others. It sounds simple, right? But let's look at how we actually live. I want you to take a second and think about the conversation you had with yourself this morning. You looked in the mirror. What did you say? Did you say, wow, you look rested? You're ready to crush it today? Or did you say, God, look at those bags under your eyes. You're getting old. You look fat in this shirt. 90% of us, it's the second one. Your word is the tool you use to manifest everything in your life. But it's a double-edged sword. One edge creates the most beautiful dream, and the other edge creates a living hell. Now let's look at the specific phrase impeccable. We usually think impeccable means neat or tidy, like an impeccable suit. But looking at the root of the word changes everything. It comes from the Latin peccatus, which means sin, and the prefix "im" means without. So impeccable literally means without sin. Now hang on. Don't tune out. This isn't a religious sermon. In Toltec concept, a sin is simply anything you do that goes against yourself. When you judge yourself, that's a sin against yourself. When you blame yourself, sin. When you speak your truth and empower yourself, that's being impeccable. So being impeccable with your word means using your energy in the direction of truth and love for yourself. It means you stop using your words to curse yourself or others. It sounds simple, right? But let's look at how we actually live. I want you to take a second and think about the conversation you had with yourself this morning. You looked in the mirror. What did you say? Did you say, "Wow, you look rested. You're ready to crush it today"? Or did you say, "God, look at those bags under your eyes. You're getting old. You're getting fat"? For 90% of us, it's the second one. The first major violation of the agreement, we use the power of our word to tear ourselves down. We call ourselves stupid, lazy, incapable, ugly. Ruiz calls this black magic. We're casting spells on ourselves all day long. I remember a client I worked with, let's call him Mark. Mark was brilliant, a great architect, but every time he made a tiny error, he would mutter, "I'm such an idiot." He said it 10 times a day. "I'm an idiot. I'm an idiot." He thought he was just being humble or holding himself accountable, but he wasn't. He was reinforcing a neutral pathway. He was agreeing with the idea that he was incompetent. And guess what? He started missing deadlines. He started doubting his designs. His reality began to match his word. To be impeccable means to stop rejecting yourself. Here's a challenge for you. Imagine your word is a literal paintbrush. Every time you speak or think about yourself, you're adding paint to the canvas of your self-image. If you paint with gray, black, and sludge every day, you cannot expect a bright, vibrant masterpiece. If you catch yourself saying, "I can't do this," stop. That's not impeccable. This is a sin against your potential. Change the word. It's difficult, but I'm capable of learning it. See the difference? One shuts the door, the other opens it. It's integrity. Now, where does the negative self-talk even come from? We aren't born calling ourselves idiots. That voice is not yours. It's a recorded message. It's the collective of all judgments you've absorbed from your parents, your teachers, and the social culture you're around before you even had the cognitive ability to filter it. Think of it as a Trojan horse. That childhood criticism, "You're being selfish. Why can't you just be quiet? You're not good at math," was delivered by people you trusted, so you took it as a fact. That recorded truth became the voice of your inner critic. And every time you repeat it, "I'm such an idiot," you're simply hitting play on an old, corrupted tape. Impeccability is the act of deleting that tape. It's the conscious choice to say, "The agreement I made with that limiting belief is now void." You place the old script not with fluffy affirmations, but with factual, impeccable statements. Instead of, "I'm a terrible public speaker," the impeccable word is, "I'm a person who is currently learning to be more comfortable with public speaking." It's an honest, sinless statement that directs your energy toward growth, not self-destruction. Now let's look outward. The second way we violate this agreement is through gossip. Ruiz has a terrifying metaphor for gossip. He compares the human mind to a computer and gossip to a computer virus. When you gossip, you're inserting corrupted code into someone else's head. Let's say you have a new coworker, Sarah. You don't know Sarah, but your friend at lunch leans over and says, "Hey, watch out for Sarah. She's a total snake. She'll throw you under the bus." Boom, virus install. Now, every time Sarah talks to you, you see her through that lens. She could be the nicest person in the world, but you're seeing a snake. You've been infected with someone else's word. But here's the kicker. Why do we do it? Why do we gossip? Psychological gossip is a way to feel better about ourselves. If I can lower you, I feel higher. If I can bond with you over how terrible someone is, we feel close. But it's a false closeness. It's a connection built on poison. Being impeccable means you refuse to spread that poison. It's hard. It's socially awkward sometimes. You're at happy hour. Everyone is trash talking the boss or the neighbor. If you don't join in, you feel weird. But if you want to master your mindset, you have to be the firewall. You don't have to be self-righteous about it. You don't have to stand up and say, "I don't gossip." Just don't participate. Change the subject, or better yet, say something nice. You know, I haven't had that experience with Sarah. She helped me with the printer yesterday. You will be amazed at how quickly the energy in the room shifts when one person decides to be impeccable. You become the safe harbor. People learn that their secrets are safe with you. And more importantly, they learn that you won't trash them the moment they leave the room. And let's not forget the cost to the gossiper. When you spend your time talking negatively about others, you are spending your own energetic magic to create negativity. You are, by definition, operating without impeccability, which means you are committing a sin against yourself. When you judge someone else, the same energy of judgment is reinforced within your own mind. You are keeping yourself locked in a state of fear and separation. Ruiz says that when you use the word against another person, you are casting a spell, but that spell has a boomerang effect. It comes back and infects your own world first. You become a vessel of poison. Truly powerful and happy people you know are almost always the ones who speak about ideas, not about people. The word is used for creation, not destruction. Choose to use your words as medicine for the world, not venom. To truly appreciate the power of the first agreement, we need to understand a core idea in the four agreements, which is the idea of domestication. Ruiz suggests that from the moment we are born, our mind is domesticated. We are taught a system of rules, a set of agreements about what is good, what is bad, and what is possible, and who we are. Our parents, our schools, and our religion use words to instill these agreements. You must work hard to be worthy. Your worth is measured by your grades. You are only valuable if you're successful. The problem is 99% of these agreements are based on fear and lies, not on truth and love. And we make the biggest agreement of all. We agree to live by them. We agree to be judged by these rules. This entire system of domestication is called the dream of the planet. The four agreements are essentially an antidote. A new set of agreements you can consciously make to break free from this inherited dream. The first agreement, be impeccable with your word, is the most vital step because your word is the tool that makes all the other agreements real. If your word is impeccable, you can't make an agreement that goes against your true self. You can't agree to a lie. It's how you literally renegotiate your entire reality. You stop buying into the dream of the planet and you start consciously writing your own. When you stop agreeing to the lies you've been told about yourself, the black magic loses all of its power. Okay, we've covered the theory and the philosophy. Now we need to put it into practice. This is the mindset manual. After all, we need a manual for operation. I want to give you a tool. I call it the three gates of speech. It's an old Sophie tradition, but it fits perfectly here. Before you speak, especially if you're emotional or if you're speaking about someone else, run words through the three gates.
The Mindset Manual with Myron Williams.